Hello, and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 596. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I am Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is the 21st of November, 2022. Excuse me, Laura and I both use the she, her pronouns. And this is a week where we don't have a lot to show for very different reasons.
That's very accurate statement.
We always sort of, I don't know, at least for me, I always sort of feel a need to produce so that we have something to talk about on the show. And some weeks that's great and really pushes me to get things done. And some weeks I just want to nap, like all the time. So, like this weekend, I took a 4-hour nap both days.
Nice.
I was winning at life. Unfortunately, I cannot do that on normal work days. And most people can't do that at all, so I should stop being braggy pants.
Oh.
What are you working on?
I'm working on a hat. It is the photographer hat by Lavinia
Patricia?
Yeah, something like that. It's a free pattern, although she does ask that you donate to a cause that's listed in the Ravelry profile. So I had originally started this hat last year. I was knitting a Thea Coleman hat, and it ended up, like, you couldn't see the lace because of the 3 colors of variegation in it, because it is hand spun and it is a 3-ply. So this is a more simplistic pattern to show off the yarn a little bit more. So I started that on size 5 needles, and I'm just doing 6 inches of ribbing. And yeah, it will eventually become a hat. I'm enjoying the process. I like Into the World. I can't remember. I think it's a Cordale. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, it's a lovely little bit of hand spunness, and that's living in a fat squirrel bag that I totally forgot I had, and then I found filled with needles yesterday when I was cleaning. I was cleaning up my desk area while I participated in Jillian Marino's Patreon Zoom. So that is the first thing on my needles. The second thing on my needles is a sock that you all are very familiar with if you've been watching the show. I am I have to get to another orange stripe, and then I am on the ribbing and done. So this is the second of the Stellar Nursery on the Orbit base by String Theory Colorworks. I am knitting this on size 1 needles. I'm using Wendy Johnson's Toe Up Sock with Gusset. That's linked on her blog. She's got, it's wendyknits.net, and she has a whole bunch of free patterns and patterns where you can adjust the numbers. And this is one of those. Also in a fat squirrel bag, this time with owls. The Charlie Harper owls. And then the last thing, also in a fat squirrel bag, there's a trend today. Is a pair of socks that were tubes that I started out of some Teeny Button Studio. This is one of her Hocus Pocus colorways. I started these before Halloween, but I really need these sock needles, so I'm at least going to get through the rest of this ribbing. I started reworking on it this week, so that I can pillage these needles to use them for my brother-in-law's holiday socks. So you'll notice there is not a sweater. That is because it got ripped out. I tried it on after I did those like 90 rows of short rows, and I should have listened to my gut, and I had like a tail in the back, and it was bunching in weird places. And it's just one of those sweater patterns I really feel like you have to meet gauge because of the bias of the pattern, which I did not do. So it's totally on me. Still a well-written pattern, but I'll have to try it with something else a little more bulky. But yeah, so it was only like 1,200 yards I ripped out, you know. And my goal for the year was to knit 6 sweaters, and that was going to be my 6th. So I don't think I'm going to hit that goal. I'm going to at least get started on the 6th, but I don't think I'm going to hit it with some holiday knitting that I have going on. It's okay. It'll be fine. So that's it for me.
She's like emanating that at
me. That's it for me on the needles. How about you?
I've only got works in progress. I haven't finished anything this week. Just haven't really been super motivated, and when I have been motivated to knit, it's been the sweater, but every 10 seconds that comes with me pushing a dog off of me. And that's super frustrating when you're working in Intarsia and there are a million little bobbins and ends hanging off the back of it, because it's not stressful enough. But first thing that I'm working on is a pair of socks in the day hiking colorway from Woolens and Nosh. This was the SSK colorway that she did for us last summer.
So pretty.
And this is that same superwash Targi base that Joanna. I know I got the same thing.
Okay, I emailed her back. I was like, by the way, I said send it to us whenever you have it.
Apparently, because Woolens and Nosh was talking to Jill of Hipstrings at SSK, they got together with Knit Spin Farm and they ordered a mill enough for them to all have some.
Nice.
So that's how.
I love it when our friends get together.
So Knit Spin Farm's club option for the longest time, you could get a sport weight, which was 90% Targi, 10% nylon, superwash Targi, and 10% nylon. And just earlier this year, the mill wasn't carrying that regularly, but apparently for a little while at least, it's back as an option for Knit Spin Farm because she
and Woolens and Nosh. So that's a wonderful.
Jill of Hipstrings and Woolens and Nosh got together and I guess ordered a big enough order that the mill made some. I don't know how
that's
that works
wonderful.
Exactly, but yeah, because I emailed her back and I'm like, you know that I want it, and she's like, yeah, and explained how it came about. So yeah, so this is sock number 2. I finished sock number 1. I grafted the toe while having barbecue lunch with our friend Jessie.
Oh, fun.
And her husband Michael. They were here through town on their way to
someplace else.
Yeah, Gatlinburg for a family event. So yeah, so I'm knitting this on size 3. I think that's 3.25 millimeter. I'm not sure exactly, but I think it's at 3. And then the other thing is the Intarsia Sweater. So let me pull out the pattern. So this is called Gramercy. It's by Emma Dutcher, and it was in, I think, issue 42 of Pom Pom. So this is just a picture of the back. I sort of had to rip the pattern into pieces because each the left front, the right front, and the back all have different panels in different orders. They're all variations of the same thing, like the same 3 or 4 like blocks, just in different colors and orders.
So flower, hearts,
stripes, and a different kind of flower, like a thistle versus a bloomed flower. But they're all on different pages. So like the left front was on one page, the right front was on another page, the back was on another page. And
you needed them all at the same time?
Yeah, I couldn't keep flipping between them, so I just tore them into pieces and pieced them together. I think I actually changed how a couple of them were where they were gonna be, just because I wanted them in a different order. And it makes no difference, it's the same stitch count. So yeah, I'm on the last set of charts now. I just started.
Wow.
The last set of charts.
You're flying on that.
I mean, I don't feel like I am, but after I finish the charts, I think I've still got like 3 inches of ribbing or something like that. Let's see. And sleeves. No, it says 1 by 1 rib for 1 1/4 inches. I probably will make it longer than that. And I've got the whole like neckline to do and the sleeves.
But still.
But that's all a single color.
Yeah.
So
That'll make it a little bit easier.
Yeah. So this is what it looks like right now. I'll show you the front, and then I'll show you the back. Keep you up nights.
Okay.
There's a couple where I missed a stitch or something, so I left this hanging off in the front so I can duplicate stitch over and fix what I need to fix.
Ah, gotcha.
So this is the back. It's all bunched up on a small needle. And then that's the left front. And then this is the inside. This is all the active
that's going to
yarn.
be fun.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't mind weaving in ends. This is going to be a lot of ends. But anything's better than juggling all these
little bobbins.
Little bobbins, yeah. I am excited to have the finished product. I do wonder if it's going to be long enough for me. Because I like mine slightly longer, my sweater slightly longer.
Oh, is that another chart if you want? How many is it? An odd number or an even number? I would do an odd number anyways.
I don't know if I have enough yarn.
Oh.
Like, I bought what was required, plus
Gotcha.
a little bit, but I don't know if I have enough to do that much. So, I don't know. I'll try it on when I get to that point. It's going to grow a little bit vertically anyway, just because of the weight of it.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. But, I mean, I'm enjoying it. I just wish I could knit it without having to fight a dog for lap space. Yeah. So, yeah. And this is living in my ridiculous Victorian birds.
I love it.
Bag, and the socks are living in one of my loved Hikari handmade bags.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically all I got this week.
I have a finished objects.
You do, and you got spinning.
Yes, I have both those things. So, with the finished objects, I needed a palette cleanser after ripping out the sweater, and I was, I'm reorganizing my stash right now. So I found this chunky single from Cat Sandwich, and her base is called Chunky. So I cast on the big chunky comfy hat. This is Willie Nelson number 5. Anytime she does a one-off colorway, it's a Willie Nelson. So this, even though it looks small, it's ribbing, so it will stretch, will fit in adults. And it was knit on size 10.5 needles in less than 1 penguin skein, so less than 3 hours. No, it took me like a good 2 hours. But yeah, so this is going in the gift bin. I will probably put a pom-pom at the top, and that is done. So when I have to give someone, like when I want to give someone a hat, that is available. So that is the first thing I finished, and then the rest is all spinning. So the first thing that's been going on with my spinning...
Did you get a lot of plying done?
I did a decent amount. I have some plying still on the wheel, but I'm going to knit that into a hat, which might not happen by the time you all... It might get knit into a hat before y'all see it as a fiber. I've been trying to get a fleece washed. So I've gotten a pound of Cordell fleece wash today, and another 2 pounds and ready to go. I thought it was a 5-pound fleece, and then I looked it up, and it was almost a 7-pound fleece. So that is a big difference. But I'm trying to get the giant plastic table out of my living room that fleece has been living on before my parents get here tomorrow. So we'll see if that happens. What is in my hands right now is gray Suffolk, which is something that I've never spun before. So I looked it up in the Fleece and Fiber Source book, which is the book that I go to for all my questions about fiber. And so it has a lot of Kemp. Kemp is that like guard hairy stuff that's coming off. And when I was reading the section, it actually said, hey, there's this gray Suffolk wandering around the industry, but it doesn't have any characteristics of real Suffolk, so we don't know where it's coming from. But I spun it nice and chunky. It is 125 yards. This was a club from Into the World, and I will use it to knit gnomes. It's not super scratchy, but it's not super soft either.
Yeah, I mean, it's not next to skin soft, but I would think of it as like a Jameson. Like,
yeah. Well, it's a little bit more than the Shetland. Jameson's always Shetland.
Well, I mean texture. Like
okay.
How it feels. It's not like super buttery soft, but it would be perfect for outerwear.
Yeah. And I think it'll be fun for like a gnome. So that is the first thing. The second thing is 80s punk, and apparently my caps lock was on when I was doing the show notes for that section, because it's like Shetland, screaming it into the abyss. All these got washed today, that's why they're not. Some of them are still a little damp, but this is a Knit Spin Farm bat in the 80s punk colorway. It was part of a 3-color red series that she did. You saw the first red one last week, so this is the second. It is 58% Shetland, 42% Jacob, Sparkle, Silk, and Sari Silk, 170 yards of a 2-ply. I'm probably going to combine all 3 of these into something, probably a shawl. So, yep. There's that. I like that one a lot. I like all of these. And then the last one you all saw on Spindles, it is very damp still, because it's only been hanging for around 2 hours, and it is not good yarn drying weather outside. But you all saw this on the bobbins last week. This is from Knit Spin Farm. It was also part of her bat club. It is 48% Cheviot and 52% Devon and Cornwall long wool, and then some silk noil and Sari Silk. So it definitely has a lot of those hairs. I find if it's a long wool, the less twist I add, the softer it will be. So this might be the outside of a hat, and then I'll do something softer for the lining, because it is so pretty. And this was part of her like turquoise sequence of bats. So I have 2 more to spin in that sequence. So that is what I finished. What I have on one of the wheels right now. This is on my Starling from Daedalus, and it is some Wee Chickadee, Polworth, and the Chasing Taproot colorway. So this is the first bobbin, and the second half is being spun right now, along with a turquoise bat from Knit Spin Farm. So yeah, I have some wound up fiber arts mixed BFL in the Practical Magic colorway that I applied right before coming over, but I didn't have time to get it off the wheel. But that I am planning on knitting into a hat for my father while he is here. So you might see it, you might not. You might see pictures. But yep, that is what I've been spinning. So I got a good pound done this week, roundabout.
Do you anticipate getting that much done over the course of the next week with your parents in town?
I would love to get that much done. There are lots of hockey games and football games going on, and some other stuff. But we will see. I also have a ply article to put the finishing touches on. It's written, because I wrote it a couple months ago. I just have to put those finishing touches and go back and proofread. So lots of stuff to get done. We have a Patreon coming up this Sunday. We still need to set a time for that, because it is the last Sunday of the month already, which is amazing. But what have you been reading?
I'm still reading Dragonkin. I just started the 8th book, which is the King Gaius, Dragon King, and Kachka Shestakova, the daughters of the steppes on the far reaches of the outer plains of the mountains of despair.
Yes.
That's her whole name. And I've been reading that. I've been listening to back episodes of You're Wrong About, and there's been a couple of episodes of If Books Could Kill as well. These are different podcasts that have Michael Hobbs as one of the co-hosts, and I enjoy him a lot. I've done some watercolor, not a ton this week. I don't remember.
Yes, we saw that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, not a lot. There's a duck. There's an artichoke. And this is 100 days of watercolor warm-ups on Skillshare. We're not affiliates or anything, but there's a link in the show notes. Our show notes are on our website, which is TheKnitGirlls with 3Ls.com. Firebird feather, I don't think that's a real thing. An iris. I'm really terrible at flowers. I'm better at abstract stuff. A bird cage. And an acorn. A terrible acorn. Architectural flourishes, whatever the hell that means. And a night landscape.
I like your night landscape. With the night
thing. That's alright. It's more abstract, which I appreciate. So those are, I'm up to 84 out of 100.
You're getting there.
So yeah, part of it, the reason I'm not getting further in this is that this is like student grade paper, which is perfectly fine, like to start with. But I had bought some better, nicer watercolor paper, which is 100% cotton, and it keeps the color wet longer, so you can do, like, you have much longer before it dries. You can work with it much longer before it dries. Like, much longer. And I've been going back and forth between that and because I've already started this in this notebook, I wanted to finish it in this notebook. And this dries so fast, it's really hard to get any detail done. And it's annoying me and frustrating me, but I'm going to finish it. Dang it. I mean, there's a big price difference in student grade versus, like, professional grade, but the professional grade stuff it stays wet a lot longer. And
are you going to show any of your professional grade stuff?
Maybe I don't really have anything this week. Like, I'd mostly just sort of doodled and cut it up into little pieces and just tried a couple of different things. When I have, like, anything worth showing, I will. And even bad stuff, like, even when I'm sucking out loud, I don't mind sharing that stuff. I just don't really have anything this week that I can think of. What about you? What have you been reading?
I actually have been listening to the Hidden Legacy series. I listened today on my way to Costco and also while I was playing. And I watched the movie Klaus today, which is an animated Christmas film on Netflix. And I've been watching lots of hockey. And yeah, that's about it. Lots and lots of spinning. Lots of playing on the Switch. So that's been fun. Yep, that's about it.
I started playing a new game that our friend Jesse's husband recommended called Bug Snacks. And it's absolutely ridiculous and absolutely meant for children. Because you're on this island and you have to catch these bugs that are like whopping French fries or hopping pineapples.
Aww.
Or like really...
It's giving me Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs
goofy
vibes.
stuff.
Yeah.
And the way that you catch the French fries, you like shoot a trail of ketchup and it like follows the ketchup because it likes like it's really dumb. But that's the kind of game that like I can get invested in. I'm not, fighting zombies or racing against a clock. So, yeah, so far I like it. What else? Yeah, we do have a Patreon this coming Saturday. We've also got to figure out a date for a fail along. This month has just unbelievably whizzed by.
Yeah, Hunter's got her new book coming out. Hunter Hammerson,
the Stars one?
Yeah.
The origami one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad she's doing something that's, like, sparking her creativity.
Yep, and her joy. So that'll be fun. I think you'll get that as a Patreon.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And there's lots of new knitting magazines and books coming out. House of Yarn sent out their email today, and I was like, ooh, I want that, and that, and that. So.
Tomorrow's Tuesday, so new books.
Yes.
Coming out. Um, I think that's the day that the new G.A. Aiken comes out.
Oh.
Or maybe it's next Tuesday, because it's November. So
okay.
It's either tomorrow or next Tuesday.
That's exciting.
But yeah, I mean, that's basically all I've got. It's a short one this week, but hopefully...
Not terribly short.
With the holiday, I'm only off Thursday and Friday. Laura is blessedly off all week. And she deserves it with dealing with kids, don't get me wrong.
That's why I have time to play in the stash this week.
I do not begrudge it. So Laura will definitely have something, whether it'll be a lot of stuff done or a room reorganized. There will be something.
Yeah. There will definitely be reorganization because my father really wants to reorganize one of my spaces. So that is definitely happening.
You can say goodbye to knowing where things are.
Always. Well, that room's always where... It's where we store all our SSK stuff. So,
yeah. It's
always a little bit in shambles. And I don't know where anything is. Like, because I haven't unpacked a lot of stuff from SSK still.
I mean, we don't in between SSKs unless we need something specifically. Yeah. You would be surprised how much stuff we have to haul back and forth from SSK.
It is quite substantial.
But it all helps us, make it a good event. So.
Yep.
All right, so we're just going to ramble.
Yep.
If we don't cut this off.
So we will see y'all next week.
Yep. Hope you have a lovely Thanksgiving if you celebrate. If not, then we just hope you have a lovely week, and we'll see you again next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.